Okay, well, good morning, everyone. I have your exams graded and they are here, so don't go away. I will hand out your graded exams. I do realize, and intentionally so, the exam was a little hard, but given that, I think I can only say that I'll try to make sure the second exam is not as hard. Okay, so we spent quite a bit of time talking about the four different concepts, namely the iteration bound. We talked about the very basic concepts of pipelining and retiming and interleaving. So these are all very related concepts. The iteration bound concept says that anytime there are feedback loops, there is a fundamental limit on how fast you can compute them. What I'm going to start talking about today is for certain classes of recursive computations, particularly recursive digital filters and many other types of recursive computations that I may not talk about, namely equalizers and adaptive equalizers. I may or may not, we'll see. And Viterbi decoders and things like that, we can indeed relax the iteration bound, and indeed we can change those algorithms to relax the iteration bound by creating more delays in the feedback loop. So the iteration period bound is the critical loop bound, and the loop bound is the loop computation time divided by number of delays. And if I can increase the number of delays in the loop while keeping the loop computation time the same, we can relax the loop bound and therefore the iteration bound. So that's the fundamental basis of pipelining recursive computations and recursive digital filters that I'm going to start talking about today. Okay, so we did talk about feed forward computations and pipelining across feed forward cut sets, and then we began talking about retiming as a way to move delays around. So pipelining and retiming are related concepts, but different. One increases latency and one does not. Retiming moves existing delays around the system. The interleaving concept is something that's useful to us, particularly if I'm interested in filtering multiple time series and interleaving them to same data path. As an example, if I want to interleave 4 different filtering operations, I can simply replace each delay by 4 delays and then interleave sample by sample for all different 4 different interleaved time series. So but the last thing that let me just say that pipelining, retiming and interleaving, these are all not disjoint concepts. They often are applied together. So anywhere there is pipelining, there is retiming, and even if we do interleaving where there are 4 delays, they are not sitting isolated. They are moved around to reduce critical path. Okay, so so I can start talking about recursive digital filter pipelining, but before that, are there any questions that you want to ask? Questions about exam or anything else? Maybe we'll see if I can walk through a little bit of the exam towards the end. Okay, so this homework, I will update that on the website. I think this is probably homework 6. I can change the due date to by a week or so. So is today March 3rd, so let's say March 10th. So those of you who are on Unite, you can turn it in by that date or email me, and those in class can just push it inside my office. Okay. Okay, so let me begin with how do we pipeline simple first order recursive digital filter. So let me start with a very simple one pole digital filter. So this is 1 over 1 minus a z to power minus 1. So there is a single pole at location A, there is a 0, but so you can think of that as a z by z minus a, and there is a 0 at origin. Let's not worry about that. And because the filter has to be stable, that pole at A must be inside the unit circle, which means at least absolute value of A must be less than 1. Okay, so so yn, so if I write down this is equal to yz over xz, then yn is equal to ayn minus 1 plus xn. So take the input xn and add that to the delayed output. So this is yn minus 1, a times that plus input xn is the next state yn, right, so next state. So that's what is yn. Okay, so there is one feedback loop, and that's the feedback loop. And if you try to pipeline any attempt to pipeline this multiply internally to reduce the multiply add, as you can see here, the iteration period bound is the time to compute 1 multiply plus 1 add, and any attempt to pipeline the multiply at fine grain level would really not be acceptable, because that's a feedback cut set. Data is moving from left to right on this edge of the cut set and right to left on that edge. So pipelining by placing delay here and delay here is not allowable, because that cut set is a feedback cut set. Okay. So how do we, so again, as I explained to you, the iteration period bound, in this case there is one loop, that's the loop bound, that's the time to 1 multiply and 1 add divided by 1 delay. So that's the loop bound, and if I can reduce this number 1 to say 10, then I can reduce the iteration period bound or the loop bound by a factor of 10. So how can we reduce the iteration bound or the loop bound? By increasing the number of delays while not increasing the computation time inside the feedback loop, which is 1 multiply 1 add. So the very basic approach to pipelining first order filter, this is a first order IIR filter, very simple example with one pole. So basic idea involves what is known as pole zero cancellation. So I can take that 1 over 1 minus a z to power minus 1 and rewrite that as 1 plus a z to power minus 1 divided by 1 minus a squared z to power minus 2. So that's the basic process of pole zero cancellation. So I've added a 0 at minus a, that now increases the denominator to z to power minus 2. That means there are 2 delays in the feedback loop, and I could continue that process. So this is pipelining level 2. If I want pipelining level 3, if I want pipelining level 4, I could continue expanding like that and add plus a cube z to power minus 3, but I can simply take that m equal to 2 and multiply this, change the minus to plus. Okay, so that's m equal to 4. If I want m equal to 5, so just that's not a 4 is conjugate, I can factor that to 2 times 2. 5 is a prime number, so that has to stay simply okay, so that's for m equal to 5. For m equal to 6, 6 is composite. I can multiply that by 2 times 3 or 3 times 2. So what I can do, so I can start with this expression here. So I can say, okay, so I can say this is equal to 1 plus a z to power minus 1, and then so the very basic formula that we are using here is a squared minus so okay, so the formula that we are, so the simple formulas that we are using, a minus b times a plus b is a squared minus b squared, a squared minus ab plus b squared times a squared plus ab plus b squared is equal to a fourth minus a squared b squared plus b fourth. So that's 1, this is 2, and the third formula that I have been using is 1 minus, or I can say well, let's just take 1 minus x to power n. This could be a to power n minus b to power n. It doesn't really matter. By 1 minus x is equal to 1 plus x squared plus all the way up to x to the power n minus 1. Okay, so that's really, this is the familiar geometric series of n terms. A is 1, common ratio is x, and again this converges only if x is less than 1. So that's a times 1 minus r to power n by 1 minus r, and these are simple algebraic formulas, so that's what I'm using. So if I start with this quantity here, so to go to m equal to 6, I could start in 2 different ways. So I could start with this and then apply this formula, or I could start with this and then multiply simply 1 plus in the denominator and numerator. So we will get 2 different types of structures, 2 different implementations. So first, if I start with this one, and then okay, I guess there is one more, maybe I should write down. Which really is same as 3. Okay, that's same as 3, but anyway, so if I use that property, so this is a minus b and multiply to numerator and denominator a squared plus ab plus b squared. So I'm going to multiply, a is 1, so a squared plus ab, take the product, plus b squared, and the denominator is going to be a cube, 1 cube minus b cube, a to power 6 z to power minus 6. Okay. Or I could start with this one here. So this could be another way to implement that, 1 plus a z to power minus 1 plus a squared z to power minus 2, and multiply in the denominator and numerator 1 plus. Okay, so that's how we can obtain a 6-stage pipelining. And finally, I'm going to leave the 7. 7 is same as 5. For 8 stage pipelining, let's start with 4 stage. So 4 stage, take the 4 stage, and then multiply 1 plus this to numerator and denominator. And then this becomes 1 minus a to power 8, z to power minus 8. So, okay, so those are all examples of how to multiply in numerator and denominator and create more delays in the loop. And again, if you look at these numerators, numerators are not feedback loops. These are FIR filters which can be pipelined at any level by feed-forward computations. The denominator has only one multiply. So again, I'm not changing the computation time of the loop, 1 multiply, 1 add. Now the number of delays we have increased anywhere between 1 to 8. I can change it to 16 if I just multiply 1 plus a to power 8, z to power minus 8 in the numerator and denominator. So if m is a power of 2, then I only increase the number of multiplications by m minus 1. So for example, let's see, sorry, excuse me. If m is a power of 2, I only increase the number of multiply operations by log m to base 2. Okay. But I increase by m minus 1 if m is prime or cannot be factored. So for example, if m is 5, then I have 4 extra multipliers. If m is 7, then that's prime, we will have 6 extra multipliers in the numerator. Numerator is a FIR filter and does not involve recursive loops. Okay, so let's try to think about what are these pole zero cancellations, what are they telling us? So for example, so initially I had only one pole located at A. So if I take this, for example, m equal to 2, where are the pole zero locations? Well, so if you take this denominator, set it equal to 0, so that means z squared, okay, set it equal to, bring this z to the left hand side, is equal to a squared, means z is equal to plus or minus a. So what it says is that I have the original pole located at A, and then that denominator 1 minus a squared z to power minus 2 has two poles, one at A and one at minus A. However, if you look at this numerator part, 1 plus a z to power minus 1, set it equal to 0, and that leads to a 0, 1 is equal to minus a, and then bring the z this side is equal to minus a. And where is that 0? Well, that's right here. So the pole and 0 are cancelled out. So by multiplying 1 plus a to power a z to power minus 1 to the numerator and denominator, we are introducing a pole and cancelling a 0. Cancelling a 0. So pole 0 is cancelled. The effective transfer functions remains the same. The adding the 0 and cancelling, adding a pole and cancelling by a 0 changes the denominator to this form where there are two delays in the feedback loop. So that's what is pole 0 cancellation. The numerator, this numerator. So if I draw the block diagram for that, so the numerator is an FIR filter and the denominator is an IIR filter. Okay, so that is the FIR part that does not contain any feedback loop. So 1 plus a z to power minus 1 That's the denominator part, 1 minus 1 over 1 minus the loop gain. The loop gain is a squared z to the power minus 2. So there are 2 delays here. And I don't really, I think it is obvious, but we don't want to spend a lot of time. How does this really increase the speed by factor of 2? And again, if I want to illustrate a simple example, if the multiply is 10 and add is 2 time units, then the original loop bound was 10 plus 2, 12. So the critical path is 12. Now if I want to reduce that to 6 time units, I need to add a pipelining cut set here, so that this multiply is 6, this top part of the multiply is 6, this is 4, adder is 2, so and then I need a feed forward cut set here. So these are 2 feed forward cut sets necessary to pipeline the FIR part. So we are trying to reduce the critical path from 1 multiply 1 add to half a multiply add. So half a multiply add means take the total multiply add time, divide by 2, and then place the feed forward cut set such that the internal pipelining of the multiplier is such that the computation time of the first part is the same as the computation of the second part plus the computation of the add. And by adding another cut set here, I break that propagation going forward. And now instead of so I can't, so this is still feedback and I can't really add pipelining cut sets, but I can add retiming cut sets. And the way to think about retiming cut sets is to so think about the retiming cut set in a way that think about the retiming cut set in a way like this. So remove one delay from here and place that in the internal pipelining stage. So once again this takes 6, this takes 4 and this takes 2. So I have basically, you can think about that also by breaking up this multiply to 2 nodes, do a node retiming. So move one of the delays to after the first part of the multiply. So you can either think of that as a node retiming after the multiply operation has been broken down into 2 smaller nodes, or you can think about that as a retiming across this cut set. Either way, when we think about a filter like this, I have the liberty to pipeline these computations by adding as many delays at the input, as many delays at the output if I need to. So I can also add a pipelining cut set here, and then this delay here and this delay here could really be moved to the adder output. So again, there are these retiming tricks we can play because we have more delays in the loop. So instead of adding delays in the loop, we are now retiming them to move them around. Any question about that? Yeah, any questions? No? Okay, so so that's how we take advantage of that more delays in the loop. So we not only reduce the bound, but we reduce the critical path to match the bound. So what happens when m is 3? So if I have hz is equal to 1 plus az plus z to the power minus 1 plus a squared z to the power minus 2 by 1 minus a cube z to the power minus 3. Now where are the poles of this? 1 minus a cube z to the power minus 3 equal to 0. That implies z cube is equal to a cube. So z is the cube root of a cube, and there will be 3 cube roots. One is going to be a, another is going to be a e to the power j 2 pi by 3, and another is going to be minus that. So so basically we have this is the unit circle. So the first pole is at a, and then you draw a unit you draw a circle of radius a. You draw a circle of radius a. So the first pole is at a, second pole is at A at an angle 120 degrees, and the third pole is at A at an angle minus 120 degrees. And if you solve this quantity, set it equal to 0 and solve that, and the two zeros are going to be here, and the two zeros at, so this is a second order FIR filter that has two zeros, and those two zeros are exactly located at A e to the power plus minus j 2 pi by 3, so they are cancelled out. So again the transfer function remains the same, but we have now three delays in the feedback loop. That's the numerator or the FIR part. Instead of a first order FIR, now I have a second order FIR, and instead of having coefficient A squared and two delays, now I have coefficient A cube and three delays. Okay, so we can continue with this, but the book has a lot of details, and so you can certainly look at the book. If we have four stage pipelining of the IIR digital filter, h of z is going to be 1 plus a z to power minus 1 times 1 plus a squared z to power minus 2 divided by 1 minus a fourth z to power minus 4. And once again the poles of this are going to be the fourth roots of a to power 4, and there will be four fourth roots. So first of all, this simple square root is a squared, and take the square root of that, or plus minus a, and then the second square root is minus a squared, and take the square root of minus a squared, that's plus or minus ja. So once again, the poles are going to be on the circle of radius a and spaced apart. So you can think of that as plus minus a, and then plus minus a e to the power j twice pi by 4. So in the previous example, these were spaced apart by twice pi by 3. So these poles or the cancelling zeros were spaced apart by twice pi by 3. So now they are spaced apart by twice pi by 4, which is 90 degrees. So that's a j times a minus j times a. And then if you look at what is, okay, so that's the denominator. What are the roots of this one here? 1 plus a z to the power minus 1. So that's just simply minus a. So if you think about what are these zeros implementing, so the first zero is implementing a0 at minus a. So that stays, let's call the numerator 1 and 1, and this is numerator 2. So this is the 0 of numerator 1, and the 0 of numerator 2, 1 plus a squared z to the power minus 2. So that's going to be ja and minus ja. So again these three are being cancelled. This one here is cancelled by the first numerator, and these two complex conjugate poles on the imaginary axis are being cancelled out by the second numerator here. So effectively all three are cancelled out by these two stages. If you think about m equal to 8, same thing. So the first, I'm not writing the equation, we have that somewhere else. If you think about where are the poles now, these are on circle of radius a at an angle So the poles are located on the circle. This is the original pole. And then how many total poles? 8 different poles. So 7 new poles that are all spaced pi by 4 apart. So the one here, 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 here. So those are the 8 poles on the circle of radius A, spaced apart by, so this is the denominator 1 over 1 minus a to power 8 z to power minus 8, and the numerator parts 1 plus a z to power minus 1, so that is 1 0 at minus a, 1 plus a squared z to power minus 2, the second numerator that has 2 zeros as we just saw, located at ja and minus ja, and the final numerator n3, which is 1 plus a fourth z to power minus 4, has 4 zeros. And where are those 4 zeros located? If you compute the so z to power, okay, let's solve this one. Okay, so z to power 4, so bring this to the left side, is equal to minus a to power 4. Okay, so z is the fourth root of minus a to the power 4. Okay, so which are going to be the square root of this quantity is ja squared. Okay, so plus or minus ja squared and the square root of that. Okay, so j is 90 degrees, so that's a at an angle 45, a at an angle minus 45. Okay, so those are going to be, so this is still radius A. So those 4 zeros. So again, if you take the product of these 3 numerators and the denominator, and then we have 7 zeros, 1 plus 2 plus 4, and they will effectively cancel out. So the first numerator will cancel out this 0, the second numerator will cancel out these 2, and the third will cancel out these 4. And the 7 zeros will be cancelled out, and we'll be left with only one original pole, which is what we want. Okay, so that's really a frequency domain interpretation of pole zero cancellation to create more delays inside the feedback loop. We can look at the same thing from a time domain perspective. So from a time domain, so if we try to understand what does this mean from a time domain perspective, so that basically says that if I start with the original equation, which is what I had, a y n minus 1 plus xn, and so the idea is very simple. So I can say y n plus 1. Okay, so let's just take this. So I can write this as a times, now instead of this, just substitute n by n minus 1. So a y n minus 2 plus x n minus 1 plus xn. So that's what we are doing in time domain, which is a squared y n minus 2 plus a x n minus 1 plus xn. And you will quickly recognize that's the FIR filter added to the denominator part. I'm not going to write down a lot more, but you can simply see that it is equal to a cube times y n minus 3 plus a squared times x n minus 2 plus a x n minus 1 plus xn. Is that right? So substitute a y n minus 3 plus xn minus 2. Yeah, so okay. So that's for m equal to 3. That's the equivalent again. This part here is the second order FIR filter case. Now for m equal to 4, I can write that as a fourth y n minus 4 plus a cube xn minus 3 plus a squared xn minus 2 plus a xn minus 1 plus xn. Okay. So, so obviously this this part here is the familiar pole location that I have just talked about. What is not obvious from here is this is really, this whole thing here is a third order FIR filter which has 4 coefficients. Now, how do I really take that third order FIR filter and break that into a product of one first order section and one second order section? So, that is not obvious immediately, but if you think about, so think about this as an intermediate part, let us call it f of n. Okay. So, if I call this f of n, then from these two I can take ax squared outside a bracket. So, this is a squared taken outside a bracket, a xn minus 3 plus xn minus 2, which is the same thing here delayed by 2 samples. So, a squared fn minus 2. So, that is really what the decomposition is. When we have m is a power of 2, I can reduce from m minus 1. Straightforward approach will give us m minus 1 coefficients, but I can decompose that by a doubling approach, a recursive doubling approach. That will lead to log m multiplications instead of m minus 1. So, if I call this f of n, this is delay this by 2 samples, I get a xn minus 3 plus xn minus 2 multiplied by a squared. So, this becomes the numerator 1. So, that becomes the numerator 1 where we are computing fn. Then fn plus a squared fn minus 2 becomes the second FIR filter here. And if m is 8, you keep doing same thing. So, at least that gives you an idea of how we can take any first order IIR filter and pipeline that by pole zero cancellation approach. Any questions? Okay, so now let us talk about what happens when we have a higher order filter. So, now let us start with a very simple example, second order IIR filter. So, let me start with an example where the poles are located at half and 3/4. So, we have h of z is equal to 1 over 1 minus half plus 3 by 4, which is 5 by 4 z to power minus 1 plus 3 by 8 z to power minus 2. Okay, so that's an example of a second order IIR filter, and if you draw the block diagram of that, so yn is equal to 5 over 4 yn minus 1 minus 3 by 8 yn minus 2 plus xn. Okay. So, so if you draw this structure here, so it says I take xn, the input xn, and add that to something to get yn. So, this is what we are computing, yn. So, delay by 1 sample, delay by 2 samples. So, this is yn minus 2, this is yn minus 1, yn minus 1 times 5 by 4, yn minus 2 times minus 3 by 8, add these two and add these two. So, if you look at this, there are two loops here, the inner loop and the outer loop. The inner loop has 1 delay, the outer loop has 2 delays. So, the critical loop is going to be the inner loop, which has a loop computation time of 1 multiply plus 2 add operations divided by 1 and delay. So, So we have one delay in the inner loop. So the outer loop is same thing. Loop computation time is 1 multiplied 2 add, but 2 delays. So that's not going to be the critical loop. So the bound, which is the minimum of those two, which is going to be that. So okay, so how do we again reduce the bound? Well, I can simply, if I change this number of delays to from 1 delay to 10 delays, well, I can change that number to 10. And then the outer loop will have 11 delays. So, so we can again think about this idea of increasing the number of delays in the loop either in terms of frequency domain or in terms of time domain. So either way, it's both are going to be okay. So let's look at the frequency domain first, and then we will look at the time domain. So the question that I am asking myself is, what should I add to the numerator and denominator such that I can get rid of this z to power minus 1, so that that term can be eliminated, and then I have z to power minus 2, which means that the inner loop will have 2 delays. So that's what it says. Okay, so if I take that as 1 minus 5 by 4 z to power minus 1 plus 3 by 8 z to power minus 2, and I am trying to find a polynomial that I can multiply that so that the z to power minus 1 is cancelled out. So first term is 1, and then so I want to cancel out this term here. So the next term should be plus 5 by 4 z to power minus 1, which means that if I add 5 by 4 z to power minus 1 times 1, that's cancelled out, minus 25 by 16 z to power minus 2 plus 15 divided by 32 z to power minus 3, and you add them up, this is cancelled out. So I have 1 6 by 16 minus 25 by 16, 1 minus 19 by 16 z to power minus 2 plus 15 by 32 z to power minus 3. So what that says is that the original transfer function is equivalent to, so I could write down h of z can be written as, so change that minus to plus 1 plus 5 by 4 z to power minus 1 divided by 1 minus 19 over 16 z to power minus 2 plus 15 over 32 z to power minus 3. So now if you look at, so this is the numerator, so I just have a first order FIR followed by the denominator, and all that denominator says is yn is going to be 19 by 16 times yn minus 2 minus 15 by 32 yn minus 3 plus whatever came from the numerator part. So I have a numerator part which I am not showing here. So I change this delay to 2 delays, I get yn minus 2, multiply by 19 by 16, delay this by 1 more delay, I get yn minus 3, multiply by minus 15 by 32, add them up, and now this t infinity will become same t multiply plus 2t add by 2 delays, because there are 2 delays in the inner loop. Okay. So now let's say that I want to create 3 delays in the inner loop. What does that say? Well, that says that somehow or other I must have a next process of this multiplication process. I must have this 19 by 16 plus 19 by 16, which means that I should be able to add another term to that, and if I do that, so 19 by 16 z to power minus 2 times 1 minus 95 by 64 z to power minus 3 plus 57 by 128 z to power minus 4, and if I add them up, so I get 1 30 by 64 minus 95 by 64. So that's minus 65 by 64 plus 57 by 128 z to power minus 4. So I can now write the h of z, another equivalent. So now this is adding a second order numerator. So this is adding two new poles. So now this is a denominator is fourth degree recursive filter which has 4 poles, 2 of which will be the original poles, and there will be 2 new poles, and those new poles are cancelled out with these zeros. Okay, so with m is equal to 3, with m is equal to 3, so I can write h of z is equal to 1 plus 5 over 4 z to power minus 1 plus 19 over 16 z to power minus 2 divided by 1 minus 65 by 64 z to power minus 3 plus 57 by 128 z to power minus 4. Okay, so this is for m equal to 3. For m equal to 2, I had written down previously, so if I bring that to the same place, that is 1 plus 5 over 4 z to power minus 1 divided by this whole thing here. Okay, so for m is equal to 2 and m is equal to 3, where are the poles and zeros? This is the real axis, imaginary axis. So we had originally we had half and 3/4, and let's take that as the unit circle. Okay, so where is the new 0? What is the root of this quantity? Set this equal to 0, I get z is equal to minus 5 by 4. So what that means is the numerator has introduced a0 at minus 5 by 4, and that must be the location of, excuse me, these should be poles. So that must be the location of the pole that we just added. And if you take this quantity here, where are these locations? Where are these pole 0 locations? So set this equal to 0, and then find the roots. So if you take the quadratic polynomial and find the roots of this will be minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. A is 1, so that's going to be minus 5 over 8 plus or minus j square root of b squared 25 by 16 minus 4ac 76 by 16. Well, actually I don't have to make 16. So 5 by 25 by 16, 25 by 16 minus 4 times this, so which is 19 by 4, and then I make divide by 16, so 76 by 16. So 25 minus 76 is 51, minus 51 means j comes out by 16, square root is 4, divide further by 2, and that's going to be 8. So that is going to be somewhere here, and the cancelling poles also must be located at those locations. Okay, all right. So so we can certainly increase the number of delays in the inner loop, but what do you see as the main challenge here? What's the main challenge here? Any volunteers? So the main challenge here is the poles that we have added to increase the number of delays in the inner loop are outside the unit circle. That means these IIR filters are unstable. It is true that we have satisfied the pipelining property. That means the number of delays in the inner loop has gone up to whatever number we want. M equal to 2, inner loop has 2 delays. M equal to 3, outer loop has 3 delays. So, these filters, the main drawback of simply increasing the number of delays are these IIR filters, although pipelinable, are not stable, and we don't certainly want an unstable filter where the output will keep rising in amplitude towards infinity. So that's not something that is of interest to us. Okay. Well, so what we have learned is that for a higher order filter, simply trying to achieve pipelining by increasing the number of delays in the inner loop is not going to, I mean, there will be cases, sometimes it would be stable. So if the poles were, for example, close to origin, and definitely the so-called adding delays in the inner loop would be okay. That might be stable. I could take an example where let's say the original poles are at point 1 and point 2. So probably, I didn't work it out, but probably the filter will still be stable. But as the poles get closer to the unit circle, then they will not be guaranteed to be stable. So they are not guaranteed to be stable. So they could be stable, but they may not be stable. So they are not guaranteed to be stable for every arbitrary original pole location. Okay. Any question about that? Well, this was really, so far what I have just described was really the state of the art in pipelining recursive digital filters before I started my PhD thesis. Okay. So what I showed in my PhD thesis, you don't have to be smart really, but I will say this, it took me a long time to simply recognize and that. So if I take the same example, so I can decompose that to 2 separate first order sections. So instead of having a second order IIR, decompose that to 2 first order IIR and then pipeline each part and then put them back. Two by 4 plus 3 by 4, 5 by 4. Four by 16 and 9 by 16. Okay, so as trivial as it sounds after the fact, it was not obvious. So that's really what I showed in my PhD thesis, that instead of trying to simply increase the number of delays to 2 in the inner loop, increase the number of delays by 2 in the inner and by 2 more in the outer. So now the inner loop has 2 delays, outer loop has 4 delays, and that's why we see these terms. And that will always guarantee stability. Why does it guarantee stability? Because the location of the poles and zeros from the origin are same as the original one. So if you look at what we have now done, so we have a pole at half and a pole at 3/4. All we have done now is added pole and 0 at minus half and minus 3/4 and cancelled those with cancelling zeros. So that's what is this 0 is minus half, that 0 is minus 3/4. So that simply says that the distance from the origin to the cancelling pole and 0 is exactly same with respect to the original pole. So if I take the original pole at half, new pole is at minus half. So essentially if I want to pipeline this by factor 8, okay, so if I want to pipeline by factor 8, so now express yn as a sum function of yn minus 8 and yn minus 16. So I can then say h of z in the same example as so add 7 more poles and cancel with 7 more zeros. So for this we add 7 new poles. For this we add 45 degrees away, 2 pi over 8. Okay, and then cancel them, so with the 7 zeros. So again these will be in factored form. One section will cancel this one and this one, another will cancel these two and these two, and another will cancel these 4. So I can write down in this example h of z is equal to, so if I take the same thing here, okay, so by the way, if you think about what we have done in the very first step, just change this minus to plus, everything stays the same. Change the minus to plus, that's what we multiplied in the numerator and denominator. So the first product is going to be 1 plus 5/4 z to power minus 1 plus 3/8 z to power minus 2. The next one, change this minus to plus, 1 plus 13/16 z to power minus 2 plus 9/64 z to power minus 4. Well, I don't really know what I need to multiply next. Okay, so I would have to find out what to multiply next, but let's say that if I take this, let's see what should be the next one. So 1 minus 13/16 z to power minus 2 plus 9/64 z to power minus 4 multiplied by, change the minus to plus, okay, so what is this quantity here? Let's take a look. 9 by 64 plus 9 by 6 is 9 by 32. Multiply by 872 minus 169. So that's 90. 97. Okay, I am not going to calculate the rest parts, but so the next term will be 1 plus, change the minus to plus. Oh, by the way, we should actually, it is probably a good exercise to make sure, this is the thing, that these two cancel out. If these were not cancelling out, something is wrong. So because this whole process is really eliminating powers of z like 2, 6 and so on. So finally we are left with, okay. So then the next multiplication will be 1 plus this plus that. So 1 plus 97 by 256 z to power minus 4 plus, okay, divided by, and if you find the product, so that will be 1 minus some constant times z to power minus 8 minus or plus doesn't matter by 16. Okay, so that's what is going to be final result. So there is going to be, there are 3 FIR sections, and there are denominators here with the same loop computation configuration, inner loop with 8 delays, outer loop with 16 delays. So that's really how you manipulate the transfer functions. This part here, the first part is going to be implementing 2 zeros, this and this, minus half and minus 3/4. The second term here of degree 4 is going to cancel out 4 zeros, which are 1, 2, 3, 4 on the imaginary axis, and the last one of 8th order FIR filter will cancel out 8 poles located at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, so so these two approaches to pipelining IIR filters are called, which I call them as clustered look ahead and scattered look ahead. So if you think about what are the differences between these two filters. So for example, in the clustered look ahead, if I take this configuration here, if I take this, if I take the scattered look ahead, so this is saying here that I am computing yn as a function of yn minus 8 and yn minus 16. So these two past outputs are used to compute the output yn. If it was, so for m equal to 8 stage pipelining, the clustered look ahead would say that compute yn, so maintain a distance of 8, so yn minus 8 and yn minus 9. So basically, so that would say compute yn using yn minus 8 and yn minus 9. So we are still using these two past outputs, and this distance is 8, which is the same as m. Here this distance is m, this distance is m. So we are using yn using yn minus m and yn minus 2m. So the inner loop, so in this example of the second order case, the inner loop has m delays and the outer loop has m plus 1 delays. And in the scattered look ahead, these are scattered outputs, scattered in time. Inner loop has m delays and outer loop has 2m delays. Okay, so that's really the way to guarantee. So the way we can guarantee that the IIR filters are stable after pipelining is to use the scattered look-ahead, which is essentially equivalent to thinking about breaking that up into first order sections and putting them back together after simple look ahead. Look ahead is an idea that is similar to carry look ahead as we compute carry in binary adders, in fast binary adders. Okay, so So let me, before I stop talking about this, let's take an example of complex conjugate poles. So if I have poles at r e to the power plus minus j theta, which is r at an angle, and those of you will remember this transfer function. So if I want to apply the scattered look-ahead idea, just change the minus to plus. That's the first step. And after some multiplication, you can show that this is going to be not obvious, but you can show that if I multiply that to the numerator and denominator, this is going to be the product. So again, no odd terms. If you change the minus to plus again and continue that process, and again if you change the minus to plus and multiply these two terms, you will see that this is going to be minus 2 r fourth cosine 4 theta z to power minus 4 plus r to power 8. I leave that to you to try at home, but you can prove that to be true. Okay, so what formula do you think I am using to go from here to here or to here? So that's the formula I am using. A squared minus AB plus B squared, change the minus to plus, A squared plus AB plus B squared is A fourth minus A squared B squared plus B fourth. Okay, so I guess, well, maybe not exactly. No, not exactly. Probably not exactly. So if I think of this as A squared and this whole thing is B, this is not B squared. Okay, yeah, we can't apply that formula. But you still can prove that this happens here. So I must have gone through a lot of time to show these things. And so you can show that. You can work on that. And you can keep doing, change the minus to plus. This will become 2r to power 8 cosine 8 theta z to power minus 8 plus r to power 16 is z to power minus 16. So I have spent time talking about pipelining of first order and higher order IIR filters. So next class I will begin talking about parallel processing in IIR filters. So I can simply go through, maybe some of you, okay, the exam was hard and I think reasonably well, little hard, but this is really similar to the in-class problem that we worked out for 4 by 4 convolution using iterations of 2 by 2, and this is the outer structure of 3 by 2 convolution, where this is broken down into inner 4 by 4. So I already we already counted this in the class. 9 multiply 19 add for 4 by 4. This is from lecture note 5.7, I think, slide number 5.7. So now this is 4, so 8 decomposes to 4. So this is 4 by 4 convolution gives 7 results, and these are 7 polynomials, 7 degree 6 or 7 term polynomials. So each of these 2 times 7, 2 times 7, 4 times 7 adds, and then now we have 28 things reduced to 19 things. So that's the number of merging adders. This one, the delay, this is a very simple problem with each delay is z to power minus 2. So xt 2k, 2k minus 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, plus 1, minus 2, minus 1, minus 3, minus 5, minus 7, minus 9. Just write the equations and put these things in. So that's pretty straightforward. This is a little bit more involved, but I think what I intended is the transfer function h is 0, 4 zeros. So the first term is n minus 4, means z to power minus 4, 4, 5, and then these are zeros, 8 and 9. So take term by term, 0, this 0 goes here, 0, 0 go here, a, b, 0, 0, c, d, even and odd, sub filters, add them term by term. Okay, so now, so 0, nothing multiplied to this, 0, a, 0, c, 0. Same here, 0, 0, b, 0, d, 0. A plus b, c plus d, and then, so we compute these parts and then subtract these parts here. So that's odd, delay the last one, add that back to first part, that's even. And then you can check that by tracing the node computations in time domain, call this 1, 2, 3, and then simply compute that by what is output at signal 1, 2, and reconstruct the even and odd. So you can show that this was very similar to the one I worked out, but I just changed the expansion. So if you change the expansion so that I group together the first 2 terms followed by z to power minus 2 times the outer 2 terms. So, so if you want to think about this expansion, what does this expansion do? So remember in the class I had x0, 2 and then 1, 3, because I was expanding 0 plus 2 z to power minus 2. Now this is 0, 1 and 2, 3. So you can think of it 2 ways. First of all, really, so think about so far all the way up to here is really think of that as a 4 by 4 convolution computing 7 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these 2 adders are the A4, 2, 2. So adding them up and then delay the last 3, add them to the first 3. So that's kind of one way to think about that, but the other way to think about that is really, so they multiply these, so we get these terms plus if you multiply z to power minus 2, z to power minus 2, that's z to power minus 4 times this, and then finally z to power minus 2, this times that plus this times that, and that's where we have the fast filter idea. So take the sum, and so that's what is the sum, this is the sum part, subtract the first to first, first to first, second to second, second to second, third to third. So that's what is really the subtraction, and then each of these polynomials is really 0, 1, 2 if you take the coefficients. 0, 0 plus 1, 1 plus 0, 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 0 plus 2, 2 plus 0, so they add up. 3 stays same as here. These two add to degree 4, so they add them up. Degree 5 delayed is degree 1, add to 1. Degree 4 add to degree 0 after delay. 6 after delay is 2. Okay, so the last one was again that's just transpose and compute the inverse, and so that's the same thing. So okay, so we will continue with the parallel processing next class. So don't go away. I have your exams are also posted on the Canvas site. Solution. You will be gone at noon tomorrow, so for a week. So